And when everything is upside down, when you're yelling but you make no sound, life is gonna spin you round. Whoa, and get a little bit stranger. When everything is upside down, a tremor in the underground. The nights are gonna take this town. Whoa, and get a little bit stranger, stranger.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is a very special night tonight because it is Thursday, yet we have a GRLCS stream, and it's 8 p.m. nonetheless. We are here for some League of Legends action, and apparently my audio isn't coming through. Oh, wait, I hear you now, General Vici.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. It is Venny, Vid, and Vici here for Philgang versus Lamppost.
Yeah, and this is a very big game between the two teams of Platinum Capped, as it somehow, in some convoluted, I'm not quite sure what way, will help determine who's going to playoffs or not. I'm not sure if you know the math a bit better than I do on the mechanics of all the tiebreakers that are gonna come up.
Yeah, so I did some digging, and unfortunately we agreed to this before I realized that this was not like the first place match. But what I did realize was that this is the match to determine who goes to playoffs, because with 3-2 teams tied for third place right now, only the top 4 go to playoffs. Philgang already lost 2-0 to the other 3-2 team, Quarantine Recovery Gang. Lamppost lost to Quarantine... No, Lamppost beat Quarantine Recovery Gang 2-1. Philgang lost to Quarantine Recovery Gang 0-2. So, if Philgang loses here, they are definitely out of the playoff race because they cannot finish anywhere better because Quarantine Recovery Group has a game against Divine Ascension Gaming this week who forfeited, so it's an automatic win. So, at best, they could all finish at the same record, and Philgang loses on the head-to-head. If they win, they still have a chance.
All right, cool. So, yeah, this is big game to determine for Platinum playoffs as we get somewhat more into Champ Select. We have both bot lanes coming up, plus a Graves for Philgang.
And I really like this for Philgang, just because Graves is a very strong jungler. The fact that they get the first pick's Caitlyn power pick for... Is Narawana their ADC? I know True Rage is filling in for Lexus GTX 470. So I know True Rage is filling in. I think he's filling in mid. So this Caitlyn will be going to Narawana, which is quite strong. The Graves as well is very strong, and it looks like Hastega does get his hands on his Echo, which is a significant power pick for him.
Yeah, and it's just really exciting because both of those junglers like to fight early, or they can fight early. So you can, and I don't think there's one that always wins it. So we could have some fun skirmishes. Bot lane, I think we'll go for Lamp just because Morgana's pretty good into Bard, and Ashe is one of the better ones into Caitlyn, despite Caitlyn being the premier lane bully bot.
And I think the Bard, if I'm reading this correctly, and Roast the Beef will be playing more of a roaming map-affecting Bard to try and help get his mid lane and jungle ahead. Of course, leaving the Caitlyn out to dry, rather, is going to allow Ashe and Morgana to shove in there, but Caitlyn is strong enough that she should be able to farm pretty well under tower. She just loses that early game.
Alright, and meanwhile, Philgang banned out the Kha'Zix. You said signature Echo for Hastega, so I assume that it's one of his more popular champs to play. So I'm wondering if they don't realize if it's going jungle, or they're just covering their bases because it might go to Leroy anyway.
Yeah, I could be wrong here, but I do recall Hastega having a couple of really good standout games in the first few weeks on Echo. Of course, the Leroy could be playing it, but really that's just a good flex pick, and they are trying to cover their bases here with that with that Kha'Zix, Wukong going to be locked in the top lane, meaning that Philgang does get their counter pick here. Yeah, it is a flex, so Leroy and Histega both play it, but Wukong, yeah, the top lane, and also potentially a jungle Wukong pick, hasn't really seen that much, if at all, any recently, but now the Maokai going to be picked up. I think that's a pretty good counter pick, or not a counter pick, but a good weak side pick for this Wukong.
Yeah, as a somewhat of a Maokai player myself, Wukong is a very good matchup for it because he likes the long fights where he dashes in and then just starts whacking you with his stick, get a clone, get all the autos with the attack speed. Maokai can knock him away though, so you dash in, Maokai just knocks you away, and basically Maokai just has all the trade timings he wants, and you can whittle Wukong down with the amount of spell casts that you do with like the Clone giving you more Qs for Wukong just makes Maokai easier, so it's a really good matchup for the Maokai. He can. It's not exactly winning early, but once you get to level 8, 9, Maokai will scale up, it'll be pretty well. And it looks like the flex picks are in play because it's not Wukong top, it is jungle, you were right. Instead, we have an Urgot.
Yeah, and then there is Leroy's Echo mid as well. Or this could be the rarely seen Morgana jungle. Now they're just trolling around. It is the Wukong jungle. Morgana will be going into that bot lane. And yeah, Urgot into Maokai. How does that one work out for the Maokai?
That one's a lot more rough for Maokai because if Urgot plays his spacing right, you can dodge keep him out of Q range, which is a lot of Maokai's power. And Maokai wants to walk up too close or go in on you, Urgot can trade, and he does a lot more DPS in the short term with the ult kill threat. So it's a lot harder for Maokai, still able to farm up in it, but not quite as advantageous as Wukong.
Well, we are looking at a fairly AD-heavy comp here for Lamppost. Echo really is just going to be individual damage. He's much more of an assassin playstyle in the mid lane rather than that kind of tanky interrupter bruiser that you see in the jungle sometimes. Of course, Caitlyn and Orianna are going to be very squishy, which means that they have to watch out for Echo, and they don't really have any of that backline peel since the Bard is much more kind of a one-note champion when you get to that Echo Assassin stage. He's just looking to start fights with his ultimate, create space for his team, not necessarily fully peeling for his carries against divers.
Yeah, and that will be a bit harder with the Morgana because you can Black Shield the Tempered Fate, keep it from locking you in stasis, so that'll be a pretty good answer later on, but you do have the option of taking a Wukong or diving Echo out, give time for someone to focus them. Or it's also really good with Caitlyn in that respect because Caitlyn loves people going into stasis. You've got GA, Zonya's TP. Caitlyn sees it. You just put a trap under the feet. They come out and eat 600, 800 damage headshots depending on stage of the game. That's pretty fun for her.
And I think Dogmar is going to have to really check himself with these Morgana E's, because if he leaves, or if he uses Black Shield on one of his teammates, he is very likely going to leave them out to dry if they get a multi-man Tempered Fate. So he has to kind of check himself rather than automatically hitting Echo or automatically hitting Ashe with it, because if all of the carries get eaten up by Tempered Fate except for one, suddenly that's bad news bears for the last guy.
Yeah, and I do think that the Black Shield will be a big part in how team fights go. Like, whether you're using it to dodge a Tempered Fate, you might also want to put it on Wukong so he can get an uninterrupted big ult in the back line. Echo maybe as well to make sure that he can get his ult off. Urgot can even use it if you want to give him a bit of space. So there's a lot of different ways you can use Black Shield that makes it important to use it in the right way to be able to get the right kind of advantage you need, and that'll be a lot dependent on the kind of fight. So Dogmar's going to have a lot on his shoulder, but he can also hard carry this if he plays it correct.
Yeah, so I think we discussed how that top lane is going to go most likely, and how the bot lane as well if the Bard roams. And in mid lane, Orianna into Echo is a pretty good safe pick here for the Orianna, just because she's got a shield and a little bit of slow there if Echo tries to jump in, and she should control the lane pretty easily up until about level 4. The big question mark here is the Graves into Wukong jungle. Do you have a take on that?
So Wukong jungle is not something I basically ever see. In fact, I don't think I I might have seen it a few times when he was first mini reworked. I have not seen it more recently than a couple of months, at the very least. I would imagine Graves does well because of his ability to just get a bunch of armor stacking through Z, and you can kind of just kite the Wukong if he dashes in on you. Like, he jumps on you, you dash back, get the armor. Graves usually takes phase rush. We'll see if he does in a minute, and that helps him cut it even more. So I think that Graves, yeah, there's the phase rush. So I think that Graves will have the advantage in the 1v1, unless Wukong gets like maybe in the middle of a river away from wall and outplays him some. But we'll see. But I do think it'll come down to more laners, which, as far as I can tell, Philgang has the more advantageous lane, at least mid, to be able to help out the Graves.
Yeah, I really do like this Orianna pick for early control for this Graves, because that really is where Graves will be strong. Or that's where Graves needs to be strong. He needs to be able to bully early. But we are into this first game of our Week 8 matchup. We've got Philgang on the blue side versus Lamppost on the red side. So Philgang, we've got Senamain roll in the top lane on that Maokai. We have Cade CBC on the Graves in the jungle, True Rage in the mid lane on Orianna, and in our bot lane, Narawana and Roast the Beef on Caitlyn and Bard.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the red side, we've got Team Lamppost. We've got Suki VG playing the Urgot in the top lane, Histega taking a monkey in the jungle. Leroy is running Echo mid with Renji and Dogmar, who just burned his flash on Ashmore bot.
Yeah, going for a very aggressive early flash bind here, but he doesn't manage to hit the bind, and not to mention that might not have even spelled death there, just because she was very close to the turret.
Yeah, that was a pretty aggro bind to go for early. It's not like they'll be under a ton of pressure bot lane as long as you can keep away from a bard wall, so it's not the biggest deal that Morg splashes down, but also probably not worth going for in the end.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not worth it, but again, as you said, not horribly punishing, because this is a Guardian exhaust. Yeah, this is a Guardian exhaust relic shield bard, so it's not like he's going to be punishing you as much as like the electrocute Airy, or the electrocute or Airy, or Spell Thief's Edge. It's going to hurt if he gets caught out, but you know, Morgana with that level 2 will be able to take the Black Shield.
Yeah, it's not going to be a big deal. Caitlyn Ashe, especially with these supports, is much more of a lane manipulation than direct fighting, as this is actually pretty good by Suki to force Maokai off. But going back to what I was saying, Ashe Caitlyn, you aren't like a Draven or a Lucian lane where you want to be like fighting, looking for kills, not with a Ho-Champ like Thresh. Instead, it's a lot more about lane manipulation. Who's getting better minion trades off, who's poking better through the minions between Ashe and Caitlyn, so
I should call LS. Just call LS and see if he wants to come in and talk about wave states for 15 minutes.
You know, that'd be pretty hype. Ooh, that's a flash burn for them. Yeah, that evens it out quite a bit.
Yeah, I would say that's even advantageous. Dogmar's flash is going to be up by like 6 minutes. Meanwhile, Narawana just burned his, and that will still be down as they're getting close to those, like full trading spikes. So if Narawana steps out of line, Dogmar could find him a death sentence.
Yeah, and it's not. Once again, I'll have to say it's not the biggest deal to have flashdown just because Narawana does have cleanse, so the next binding probably won't matter all that much. It's just cleanse burned and you're fine. The binding after that could be a problem if you have no flash or cleanse because of just how much Caitlyn or Ashe can run you down once you get slowed. I'm not sure if they still take approach velocity, but I know at one point it was a big thing with approach velocity Ashe and just run people down in lane.
I still do. I think it's an absolutely busted rune on Ashe, and I think most Ashe players, especially, still in Platinum, where people do actually have a good handle on their champ, this isn't Silver, most people still do take approach velocity just because it is really good, especially on top of like Morgana binding if you're a little bit out of range. So we are already seeing just, Renji and Dogmar having control of this lane, pushing it forward, getting that ward in the deep bush over there, and That does not, however, stop Cade CBC from taking away that bot side scuttle. So it is a trade of scuttles on both sides of the map, and now we're finally seeing that level 4 coming in from the Leroy, and True Rage is out of mana, so there might be a little bit more trading going on that may force True Rage back, since also doesn't have the Corrupting Pot.
Yeah, and that'll be just probably a TP burn from True Rage, but it does mean Leroy will have a very, very good lane. Having TP up while still next to full health against someone who doesn't have TP is just allows you to go for a dumb trade, back TP, and then have pretty much perma lane advantage. Junglers are pretty even, just doing full clears of getting what they can. No real interaction. I do wonder if Hastega will visit top with a lane slow pushing from Maokai into Urgot, but considering mana situation, I doubt it. So I imagine both junglers will reset, and we'll see what they go for there. And it might be a dragon that spawns.
Yeah, the dragon spawning now, it is a Cloud Drake. However, Cade CBC is moving into that top side. Looks like he wants to take his Gromp and possibly give Suki VG a visit up there. Meanwhile, Hastega still has his bot side to clear. He's got those wolves and his own Gromp as well, but that does put him in a good position to maybe try and sneak away that dragon now that the first Scuttle Crab has despawned, or just allow Renji and Dogmar to continue getting lane pressure and playing more aggressively without sacrificing that much, because look at that, Dogmar's flash is back up here at 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I imagine if anyone would go for Dragon, it would be Hastega. He has pushing bot lane with basically permanent lane advantage. He could start it up easy, they could roam up and help him. Now, Echo did just back, so a couple of good trades from True Rage to make him go back first, but he managed to do it at a point where he doesn't actually need to blow TP. So that'll be nice for him to have when he can get back to lane, because like mid lane is just going to push in. He might lose a minion, but nothing more than that. So keeping TP is going to be really good to be able to continue his advantageous lane state. As meanwhile, with Ori backing, Hastega is looking to get into the jungle, and we might finally see some action.
Yeah, it was almost a cheater recall that True Rage forced, and now he is at the disadvantage, so Hastega will most likely be stealing away these Raptors, put himself at a little bit of an advantage here against Cade CBC, but there's some action in the top lane.
Yeah, Urgot going in for a quick trade. Maokai is out of mana, and you can do pretty good once you have more shotgun knees cooldown, because it goes down to something like 2.5 seconds. I believe level 13 is when you get the really reduced cooldown, and then you can really start just doing long all-ins. Kind of surprised to see Press the Attack instead of Conqueror. Press the Attack is really good early, but against someone like a Maokai, I'm not positive enough to say that Conqueror would be better, but I would have taken it. But meanwhile, he might be trying to push his advantage too far, as he's going to get knocked up under tower, tries to ult, but if he's going to walk right back into KCBC, and that is a first blood for Philgang through the Graves.
Yeah, that is a very good movement by Graves up there. Hastega did back off after stealing away those Raptors. There really wasn't that much of an opportunity to go and solo that dragon. Since True Rage had finally gotten back, Cade CBC was able to stall out enough, but good move by Hastega here, moving in and stealing away these Krugs, knowing that Cade CBC is on the wrong side of the map. And also he's giving over his blue buff currently to his mid laner. So a couple of good things that Lamppost is getting back, although they do lose that first blood, and give it over to a very strong early game jungler here.
Yeah, and I do have to criticize Tsuki PG just a little bit for that. Graves had backed up away from after, as you know, he was topside jungle, but he stayed pushed up anyway, trying to get Maokai forced on tower, trying to push his lead. Ends up costing a bit, but isn't the biggest deal in the world. He should still be okay. So that's a good trade for Leroy to get Shockwave. Shouldn't be much more than that, unless he wants to try and ult back. But meanwhile, Maokai's pushed Urgot, so Urgot's going to be fine staying under tower. He can, at this point, he can do whatever he wants with Boy. Push it, freeze it, crash it. There are options, and we'll see which of those he decides to do.
Yeah, it looks like he is just going to let it bounce off of the tower, but Hastega's here.
Yeah, and that's going to be the cleanse forced out from Narawana with the arrow from Renji. He's going to walk forward with Flash Shield on. Meanwhile, TP coming in from Maokai and Orianna in the backline. They're going to look to contest this. Urgot's going now. A bit delayed. They are going to get the Wukong ult flash out. Going to get the knockup in here. Maokai on the way. There goes Urgot into the backline with the Wukong getting knocked up. That's a huge stun for Leroy. It's going to be a double kill for him. Now, Maokai is stuck. He's going to get pulled back into the buzzsaw, turned into sawdust. 4 kills for nothing in favor of Lamppost.
Phil gang, they had the better TPs, they got in there earlier, they just couldn't find the right targets, they didn't focus down one target in particular, and then even Hastega, who was so low there, was able to hit the chrono break, or he didn't even need the chrono break. What did he get? Because he got all of his health back, or Leroy didn't even use the chrono break. He got all of his health back and was able to just walk away. So now Lamppost, they get themselves 4 kills and this free dragon, and all 3 lanes are now ahead.
Yeah, that was huge turnaround from Lamppost. I was a little bit worried at the beginning because of how delayed their TPs were compared to Phil Gang. You had Phil Gang had a nice response initially with the Ori Maokai TP in, but then just turn around from there. But meanwhile, mid lane, he's going to be able to force back into the corner break. He's probably going to not be able to get out, so he's going to look for a kill back on a True Rage. Shutdown, though, comes from Safe CBC, and that's 2 kills now for the Graves.
Yeah, this is good getting ahead by the Graves here, getting something back as well. That was a 450 gold shutdown. True Rage had me worried for a second there as he walked back in against that Echo, but luckily they had enough damage and the shield coming out from the Orianna. Was able to get them the kill, was able to get them a little bit something back, so now Phil Gang are only 600, even less than that, gold behind their counterparts.
Yeah, they aren't too far behind, but it is a bit worrying because of what targets on Lamp have the goals. That's going to be a full goal arrow. 3 points for NG. Probably would want a hit instead. But the gold, they got 2 kills onto Urgot and 2 kills onto Echo. And this is a good 1-3-1 comp. You have advantage in the side lanes, especially once Urgot gets a couple more items. Once Echo gets a couple more items, they do well. As that's going to be an all-in top. We have both junglers coming up to help it, but the Maokai gets chunked out early. They are probably still going to look this for Graves, but there's a Wukong. And meanwhile, the Leroy's on his way up as well. Let's see if they can burst Urgot down before he can quite get it. Here comes Wukong. That's going to be a double ult. Shut down, though, after the flash forward from the Graves. But here comes the Leroy. That's a beautiful parallel convergence into the Time Winder, and that's an easy double kill and 4 kills now for the Echo.
That was going to be a really good 2v2 there. Cade CBC got on top of Suki first. Suki again just ulted the Maokai, trying to get him low, trying to deal some damage to him before he went down. And then Hastega kind of got in a little bit late, but the Leroy was there with the parallel convergence, was there to hit both people, and now it looks like he's going for True Rage.
Yeah, the Leroy is really starting to feel himself now. Once you have this kind of lead on Echo, you just go in with your trades, and the hits start coming, and they definitely don't stop coming. As if you ever get too low, you just ult back, and you're full again to get more trades. So that's really, really huge for Lamp, as this is an all-in from Dogmark. He's going to pop the ult walk forward at him. Won't have Find immediately after. There's the parallel convergence to stop Renji's follow-up. Trap not quite lands, so that's a ult blown. They do get an R1 as flashes. The Leroy's going just right under tower. He's going to kill, runs right into State CBC. This is probably going to be a shutdown. Who's going, does get the stun. I doubt he'll live anyway, though, as he is going to dash away. And with the move speed from the Echo passive, the collateral damage from over the shoulder is going to shut him down. Right as he was on the verge of escaping.
Good cleanse.
Yeah, really nice cleanse, but this Echo's starting to pop off, and it's getting a bit worrying for True Rage.
Yeah, this is not looking great for True Rage. We saw Leroy burn his flash earlier, or getting True Rage to flash over the wall, so really good sense there, making sure, knowing that there was no ultimate, there was no flash, and he was able to punish that even without his own ultimate. He's got that Proto Belt finish now. He's just going to be chunking like an MF here, and True Rage still sitting on that lost chapter. Cade CBC did manage to get himself yet another kill, so he is 100% of his team's kills, which is not a good thing with how far behind True Rage is already. And then as well, Suki in the top lane. He's got 2 kills, he's got that full Black Cleaver, and Senamain, he did have the advantage, he was playing this very well. It's just all of these top lane fights have not gone in favor of Lamppost, and just look at how much he's getting chunked by these shotgun knees.
Yeah, it's really rough. The side lanes are getting ahead because Graves isn't probably going to be answering the side lane, and even then, he isn't the best matchup in Echo just because of the ability of Echo. That's going to put him on his tower. He's going to take a couple shots, but then the shotgun needs to come out anyway, and that's going to be a solo kill for Suki VG. Cinnamane wanted to try and get some pressure off of his tower and just gives away a kill instead.
he is not strong at this point. Urgot got the jump on items, and the Ninja Tabi really aren't going to do that much when you compare it with the fact that Suki's got a Black Cleaver. It cuts through his armor, the shotgun needs to do percent health damage, and now with all of that top lane power that Suki has, Hastega is just going to take the Rift Herald all on his own, and it's a 2v2 up there, but one of those two is Echo, so Leroy will be able to zone off Cade. And now the gold lead has stretched to about 2k in favor of Lamppost. Turret plates have fallen, and Lamp got a lot of those in the top lane and bot.
Yeah, that's a really, really good lead for the carries that need to have a lead from Lamp. With the Black Cleaver lead, Cinnamon just didn't realize he couldn't fight him. Leroy's feeling himself it as well, so a lot of it's going to be on if Philgang can use their team fighting tools properly, because you do have the Maokai, you do have a Tempered Fate with an Ori Shockwave right as they come out of it. You do have ways to force and get on people and get them killed to be able to get back in the game. It's just going to be really hard if they can't get that off because of how good Lamp's 1-3-1 is. And how good their carries are. Meanwhile, Stun's going to land again onto Orianna. There's an arrow to keep him, and he cannot move. He cannot play. Leroy's going to style on him with a probably useless Parallel Convergence and get his 6th kill.
Yeah, that was just a flex chrono break there. So Leroy now 6-2, and with True Rage, really not respecting the power of this Echo in his pathing, taking the greedy way around, and he ends up getting punished really hard by that Parallel Convergence as well. The second charge of Rift Herald does manage to give Suki that tower there. Now 2 turrets to nothing, about a 3,500 gold lead and a 2 Drake lead means that Lamp could try and push this to like a 25-minute soul, and they are strong enough at this point that they can do this nearly uncontested. Like if they take a team fight in 5 minutes, they probably win it. Just because of how far ahead Leroy is. Now all of the gold going into Suki's pocket, he's building that Death Dance second.
Yeah, and that was just, Philgang tried to make a play. They knew they contest. Okay, it's not going to start, so I can still talk about it. But Philgang saw what was happening and decided they needed to make a play somewhere. So they pulled Cinnamon from top lane, tried to go, they wanted to contest Dragon with the team fighting tools, force Suki VG away from top and away from split pushing. Instead, Orianna got caught right before it happens. They can't make the fight. They lose the kill. They lose 2 top towers. That just snowballs the gold lead so far. It's going to be really, really rough for Phil to keep finding opportunities.
And really, Cinnamon role is all of the consistent CC on this team. Like, Roast Beef is going to have a really hard time trying to lock down the Leroy, so you need Cinnamon role if you're going to be picking Leroy, because he has the proto belt, he's got a lot of health under his belt on top of just all of the damage he has, so it's going to be hard to kill him, you know, pop him like that. You need to be able to hit multiple chain CCs on him, and oh no.
Oh my goodness, that is a beautiful Wukong ult. The Caitlyn does manage to flash away, doesn't have to bring cleanse, but that's definitely going to be bot tower. Really, really nice setup from Hastega. Using the alcove gameplay, walking around, getting into the bush, and a great double cyclone to kill.
Yeah, at first it looked like Philgang should have had the better lanes. They did play the early lanes fairly well. True Rage was able to get the Leroy back and poke him out a bunch. Cade got that early kill, and oh no!
Oh, that's going to be a splash forward. It's going to have to go back. So, trade of ultimates, really nice sidestep from the Leroy, but now the Orianna is going to have to back away from tower. They are sending Caitlyn up to cover, so they won't be able to get it down, but that's what's happening under tower. And now imagine what happens if Orianna, or anyone else for that matter, tries to actually push away from it.
But yeah, it was the early team fights that really gave Lamppost their lead, that got Leroy a bunch of kills, and were able to build these map advantages that we see them have right now. And now Leroy has his gold, he has his item spikes, he just finished that Lich Bane, and he is just going to be able to style individually on True Rage. We've seen him time and time again burn ultimate cooldowns. I mean, True Rage just sombreroed right there and just burned his flash as well. It is getting to the point where Lamppost can start on an individual level just hitting people with gold diffs.
Yeah, I mean, Sagan's going to go for it into 1v2, does pop the Cyclone, but it's going to have to flash away. It's gonna keep chasing. Arrow goes a little bit wide, but it was a long-ranged one, so it'll cut him some slack. And that is nice to be able to get ult and flash away from Histega.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a small mercy right now, but it is still a mercy. Meanwhile, Roast the Beef just getting run down by Ashtiff.
Yeah, I do want to praise Dogmar as well. Usually we're panning over, and he's actually been landing a bunch of bindings. They haven't always mattered, but it's nice. Lane pressure is he's going to walk back up, pops ult right as Bard runs away. So are going to get him, but do manage to force him away and pick up mid-tower now and give them a lot of map control.
Very good ultimate, or yeah, very good combo there by Dogmar, managing to not only get Roast the Beef to back off and net that tower for themselves, he actually also uses his ult ignite, but forces the tempered fade out from Bard. So they are going to keep that from coming up. I don't know what kind of cooldown Bard's ult has right now, but 55 seconds, it may be coming up just in time for the dragon. We'll have to see if he's able to use that to try and delay it, maybe give Cade an option to steal, because I do not think that they can take a straight fight and even dream of winning.
Definitely not that. It'll be up a little bit after Dragon spawns from what I can tell. Probably about 5-10 seconds, which can probably be just it for Lamp, as that's so much damage from Echo. True Rage is forced back at half again.
True Rage has really got to respect these, because you saw after the parallel convergence like started to show up, you could see the circle appear. He actually walked around it, but Leroy may be in trouble here because Cade's got some damage.
Yeah, he's gonna current shift back. Actually dodges over the Maokai ult. That's pretty good. As now here comes the Wukong with the Cyclone. Gonna be able to knock a flash away from it, but there's a double Cyclone. Flash the Asher on top. He's gonna pull him back in. Can't quite get in range with the Spirit. Flash toward anyway. Now Bard's gonna have to run. Pillar Converter's coming down. That's gonna zone off the rest. Ace the whole might kill Urgot. No, the shield comes out, so Deathman isn't gonna take him down. That's gonna be a double kill. Some lands from Bard, but now he's walked forward. There's another binding from Dogmar. Wukong's run in the backside. Caitlyn's trying to run. Does have Storm Razor to try and kite it, but there's a red buff on Wukong. He's going to chase forward one more whack with his stick, and that's an ace for Lamp.
Lamppost started that with Leroy moving forward a little too far. Suki teleported in order to aid his top laner. Histega comes in from the side. Senamain roll was basically dead there. He actually ends up getting eaten by the Urgot ultimate, who then flashes into Cade in order to fear him and secure that second kill. And then after that, really, it just looked like Phil was just kind of running in. They know that this is sort of their last-ditch effort. That was like the team fight that they needed to win, or this game will get way out of control. True Rage, who died earlier, True Rage, who backed earlier, teleported back in just to die again. Roast the Beef died under turret, and Narawana, losing his support, then had no choice but to try and run away, and that's where Histega got in between the turrets. Really good play by Lamppost, and really just shaky, kind of panicky play here by Philgang.
Yeah, they have to do something, but don't know exactly what to actually be able to make a change in the game. And that's just Soul Point, 8k gold lead now. Lamp has this pretty much in the bag, assuming they don't throw. Which I'll never count out throws, as we've seen them happen more than once. But it would surprise me if they were to lose this.
And there's always a little factor of live games. You know, if someone wants to style live on stream, maybe they get a little bit cockier than they need to, and suddenly you hand over 1,000 gold shutdown to the enemy carries. But right now, it looks like Lamppost aren't really trying to shove things in too far. They're still playing their smart vision game. They've got the Leroy with teleport in the bot lane, split pushing against the Maokai. He's going to be able to shove this in very hard. He's got a 2-level and full item advantage, and now Oriana's caught.
Yeah, that's a nice arrow from Renji. He's going to be able to pick off onto True Rage. It's going to be Leroy. He's actually in a 2v1 now. Nice flash forward. Gets stuff from the Taylor convergence. Double kill for Histega in the back line. Goes forward. He still has Chrono Break, and the back end of the Q is going to pick him off. Leroy's starting to style on him. Maokai is trying to chase him down, but you can't catch an Echo. Leroy's going to run out as his team pushes 4 down in the top inhib. As they might actually catch on a Leroy. Isn't the hole plus the Maokai. He's going to get the move speed passive. Runs away. Doesn't go for the sapling. Flash forward. Do manage to get him at the cost of everything in their base. Next tower goes down, and they're going to have to back out with Lamp in full control.
Yeah, Lamppost, they gave up a 450 gold shutdown, gave that to the Caitlyn. You know, it's the baby version of what I just said. Like, your mid laner goes in styles, and he ends up dying. But in return, they got 2 turrets, an inhibitor, true rage, and roast the beef. So I would say that's worth. They're gonna get the Baron so easily here. Hastega's still here. He's got a level advantage on Cade. Cade isn't even going to be there, and Lamppost gonna tear down this Baron. They're sitting at a comfortable 10,000 gold lead, and that will stretch to 13,000 as soon as, or 15, 1150, because I can do math as soon as this Baron goes down.
Oh, meanwhile, we have a TP coming from the back from Leroy right off a respawn. And Flash Roar from Morg Arrow is going to be able to land the stun punch for Leroy. One-shots him. Now Maokai's caught out all alone. Reggie's going to pick him up with the volleys. And this is going to be Lamp with Baron trying to push in. I was about to comment to save the Baron for another 2 seconds because the Leroy actually missed out on getting out of it by like half a second. But I kind of doubt it'll matter, and he decides to just TP in and win the game anyways.
Yeah, I think this is very close to the end of the game. It looks like Lamppost they are covering their bases. They're taking the mid turrets down, letting Philgang just clear minions in their top side. But Lamppost, they are not playing around, but they're also not overcommitting. They're going to get both of these inhibitors before they start to go for this final fight. They've got so much power here, and Senamain roll is just coming up now.
Yeah, this is going to be the last-ditch effort. Goes out the Tempered Fate. No Black Shield because he knows he doesn't need it. And now with the Super Minions pouring in, they're going to probably be able to push it. There comes the Twisted Advance, but they just aren't sticking around enough to get fully engaged on. He's going to go forward into the back line all alone. He's going to be burned down before his team can even get in range. Now his team's cut out, trying to help him. Nice binding from Dogmar. That's going to be the one-shot onto the beef. Shockwave finds 2, but not any of the 2 that matter. And now it's 3v5 when before it was 5. And as Lance just keeps pushing in, Philgang are going to watch game 1 fall away from them as he does get the chains. Hastega into the fountain trying to get it, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be another kill. 2 back as the carries are going to focus the Nexus. Pushing forward, Renji's going to get to 3-0-15 at the end, only non-feeder as Lamp take game number 1 of the series.
Yeah, Lamp with a very convincing game number 1. I'm thinking in the minds of Philgang right now, hopefully they manage to stall it out long enough that True Rage can step out of the mid lane and bring Lexus back in, their starter. Hopefully we'll be able to see Phil fighting at full power, because honestly, if second game goes anything like the first, it just looked like Lamp had a better game plan, a better team coming around and playing the map just far superior to Philgang.
Yeah, just better team play, better individual play. Managed to make it work for the first game of the series. And get a very good start to it to hopefully finish out with a clean 2-0.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if Lamp wins this 2-0, Philgang are pretty much eliminated from playoffs. They have a game against Return of the Middlesticks next week, who is, as of yet, still undefeated. So assuming that they will safely lose that one, this could spell the end of their playoff dreams. But we'll talk about that in the next game, because we are going to take a quick break and come back for Lamp versus Phil Game 2.
Push the kinetics, a troubled spirit breaking through. A bitter debt to repay now. But don't you dread it, a friend would never lie to you, helping you get through the pain now. And when everything is upside down, when you're yelling but you make no sound, life is gonna spin you round. Whoa, and get a little bit stranger. When everything is upside down, a tremor in the underground, the nights are gonna take this town. Whoa, and get a little bit stranger, stranger. Lost in the space set behind. Hold out a hand in your mind. Don't have to face it alone. It's in the spaces behind, never watching you. It's in your sight when you're blind. And when everything is upside down, when you're yelling but you make no sound, life is going tremor in the underground. The nights are gonna take this town. Whoa, get a little bit stranger, stranger. Lost in the spaces behind. Hold out a hand in your mind. Don't have to face it alone. Lost in the spaces behind. Hold out a hand in your mind. Don't have to face it alone.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 2 of Philgang versus Lamppost. Last game we saw Lamppost pull ahead in a commanding lead, led mostly by the Leroy getting an early couple of kills in team fights and then proceeding to beat the rest of the team down with it.
Yeah, just did well identifying playing conditions, getting a lead. Played better. We'll see if Philgang can come back and get some improvements to hopefully get this series to 3 games.
Yeah, True Rage subbing in the mid lane had a pretty good early game on the Orianna, but after that first big team fight in the bot lane, the Leroy got himself a few kills, finished that Hextech Proto Belt, and then proceeded to just smack him over and over and over again. True Rage really wasn't respecting the lead there. I'd like to see him play a little bit more respectful there. Of course, he is subbing for Lexus GTX 370. The rest of Philgang, though, they also had similar problems, failing to capitalize in the top lane and like losing to a roam from the Leroy in the bot lane. A couple of good plays by Hastega coming down and doing some alcove gaming to beat the hell out of the Philgang bot lane. And now we're finally through with the ban phase, looking for these first couple of picks with Lamppost on the blue side.
Yeah, and some tells me that Lamppost do not like Cade CBC, as that is 3 target bans directly at jungle. I guess Hecarim might be a top ban, but it's been a while since I've seen that, so I'm going to assume it's 3 jungle bans, and then they're going to go ahead and pick up Volibear, so already looking to pinch the pool down, and I'm wondering what he'll pick to counter that.
Yeah, I mean, they can't really let this go to the second rotation because it's just way too easy to take away almost all of the available junglers. So Philgang may just go for their bot lane here. Yeah, they're going to take Caitlyn Morgana, taking that Morgana away from Dogmar, and True Rage will probably be the one picking up Cade's jungler once they see a little bit more from the Lamppost side, and that is a Vel'Koz Lucian.
Ooh,
Interesting.
now that's exciting. So, if I had to guess, I'm guessing that Vel'Koz is going bot for Renji, as that is, from what I remember of him, definitely his best champion, and I doubt it's changed all that much since he became an AD. And then I'm guessing Lucian's a flex pick, so they could also just be flexing between Lucian and Vel'Koz, but that gives quite a lot of options for them in lane assignments, and Annie locked in for True Rage.
Yeah, the Annie is interesting. I think it is a fairly good counter to a Vel'Koz mid, just because she, with that speed up on her E now, is able to dodge away from a lot of Vel'Koz's projected skill shots. However, if you are correct here and Hastega picked up that Vel'Koz to hand over to his bot lane, this could be a very, very miscalculated Annie pick. Of course, with those two, Vel'Koz and Lucian picked up, we really have no clue where they're going because they could be a potential triple way flex where Vel'Koz and Lucian could go mid or ADC, Lucian could go top, that Volibear could also be top or jungle, so Lamppost has really given themselves a lot of room to work with here in the draft as they continue to pinch the jungle pool, taking away the set from Cade, and also taking that away from Cenomane.
Yeah, and the Annie is just somewhat surprising to me because I don't think it's the best into Vel'Koz or Lucian. I imagine that into Lucian it's probably good because you can just because he's always within range of your ult, and Annie ult into all her abilities, get you down to about a third HP. Ignite takes you down to like a fifth, and then it's just an extra Q for a kill. Vel'Koz is kind of hard to get in range of though, so I'm kind of curious if like they expect it to be Lucian or if they just wanted to have the Annie, because Annie running at you with like a flash or even a predator if she wants to get with a morgue shield on her sounds like a pretty scary way to blow up a couple squishies.
Yeah, and I think, and this could very well just be a comfort pick. Annie is a fairly low execution threshold champion. True Rage could maybe pick if he's picking this up to focus on possibly his macro play and just kind of turn his mechanical brain off a little bit. It's a lot easier to pull off Annie than it is Orianna. I mean, her ult is basically, if you've got your stun, it's the similar amount of damage, except you leave a bear there, and you can't sombrero Annie ult, really. But the Ornn is picked up, so I think we figured out where these are all going, except for the Lucian Vel'Koz.
Yeah, and that'll be really fun to watch. Meanwhile, Philgang went for Karthus jungle. I do not like this pick into what Lamppost has. You can't really get in range of it because Lucian can dash around all the Skittles, and it leaves your comp really, really squishy to like try and run in through a Vel'Koz. That is a Malphite, so that is good to have a frontline and engage force. Any Malphite is frankly disgusting with the kind of wombos they can pull off, especially with Karthus to finish off anyone who does manage to barely escape from that kind of combo. So we're looking at a bunch of different, kind of clash of styles in that one's a lot of front-loaded burst and or siege, and I don't know. This isn't the type of team comp I see often.
Yeah, this is a very, very strange. Like, both teams kind of draft half meta. You've got Ornn, Volibear, Lucian. All of these things are like fairly strong, fairly common. Ornn, of course, is pretty much pick or ban at Worlds right now. Volibear is also a very strong situational jungler. And then on the Philgang side, you've got Caitlyn Morgana, which is obviously a very strong bot lane, and it's just that everyone's going into very weird things. You've got Karthus Annie in the jungle mid for Philgang. You've got a Vel'Koz bot lane for Renji, which, yes, it is a very strong Renji pick. We'll just have to see how Philgang plays into it, because you can pick your comfort picks all you want. The question is, what is the other team going to do? Because they're being thrown, something is being thrown at them that is completely unfamiliar.
Yeah, I do like the Tahm Kench support to get someone out of the Annie or if more lands a binding. I'm also, what worries me about Philgang's team comp is that there's kind of a clash of styles between Karthus wants people running into him, or at least, yeah, wants people running into him. Annie and Malphite want to go in and get a wombo. Caitlyn likes to stay back and kite as well. So you've kind of got Malphite, Annie charging forwards. Meanwhile, Karthus, Caitlyn are trying to run through Vel'Koz or ults. So it's just going to be, I'm just not sure which of the two styles they're going to predominantly play with, unless they're going to try and mix it. Because as it is, there's kind of two identities on what their team comp wants to do, and they might just get pulled apart because of it.
Yeah, and in contrast, of course, Lamppost is playing a very front to back style. They've got a very clear backline that they have protection for in the form of Tahm Kench. They've got initiation from the Ornn. They've got Volibear to try and maybe dive in and at least interrupt Karthus and Caitlyn. And Lucian is a very mobile. This is a really good composition to have a Tahm Kench with, because you've got one guy that you're very obviously going to pocket. Lucian is much more self-sufficient. So I think Lamppost does have the pretty clear advantage here in draft. They've got really good solo laners. Volibear duels very well early, and Karthus just cannot hold up to that sort of thing. And then if Renji is, comfortable and warm on his Vel'Koz, I never like seeing teams give over other players' comfort picks in GRLCS. It just tends to not end well.
As someone coming from Diamond Capped, where there is quite a few, at least, or from a role where there's a lot of one tricks in top lane, I can agree that I hate seeing people on them when you see someone who's just so good at the champ, they know how to exploit it. There is going to be a really good avenue top side for Lamp. They have Lucian wins mid lane until Annie hits 6 and has some kill threat back. Ornn very much wins the Malphite matchup. In most circumstances, Volibear is already good invading, so it's going to be hard for Cade to actually comfortably farm up on this Karthus. He's going to be pressured a lot if Lamp does it right, and from what I know of Lamp, they do like their invades and pressure the enemy jungler. So it's going to be rough for him to try and get to that scary late game level 16 Karthus team-wide nuke that you really pick the champion for.
Yeah, so this is really Lamp's last-ditch effort. It is do or die in this game. If they lose, they're almost guaranteed out of playoffs. So we've got to see if they can pull something back here, if they can force this game 3. Meanwhile, Lamppost are looking to close this one out clean in the 2-0, net this win this week, and we're about to get into game in a second. Swapping over right now, we've got Lamppost on the blue side. We've got Tsuki VG rocking that Ornn in the top lane, Hastega in the jungle on Volibear, the Leroy in the mid lane on Lucian, and the bot lane, Renji and Dogmar on Vel'Koz and Tahm Kench.
Meanwhile, on the red side, we've got Philgang with Cinnamane role-playing Malphite top, Kate CBC taking Karthus in jungle, True Rage running the Annie mid with Narawana and Roast the Beef playing Caitlyn Morg bot.
And we already see Philgang grouping up as a 5-man. They do not want to be the target of an invade. They don't want this to happen. Well, Dogmar flashed forward and queued last game, so I think Philgang may be looking for a little bit of a counter to that. But this time Dogmar is on the Tahm Kench. He's got that cleanse. He's not really going for a pick at level 1.
Yeah, and I do want to mention the cleanse real quick for those that might question it. You do like it on Tahm Kench because your whole goal is to eat and save someone. If you're CC'd, you can't eat and save someone, especially against Morgana and Annie. So you just take the cleanse to be able to make sure that you can stay safe so you can keep someone else safe who you need to, and just really show off the strengths of a champion, which is the only thing he does reliably.
Yeah, that is why you pick Tahm Kench, literally just for the Devour. And as well, we have been seeing a couple of Tahm Kenches at Worlds. They've mostly been picking up QSS rather than, say, a Mikhail's, because with the QSS, you save yourself, it's a little bit cheaper, and, you know, with the Mikhail's, you want to be eating them anyway, and just as you said, if you're CC'd, you can't eat them, or if you're CC'd, you can't walk away with them. We'll have to see how Dogmar uses this, and whether it pays off in the end. Of course, with the Morgana, that will be a very, very pressing concern once you get into the mid-levels with Caitlyn traps.
Yeah, definitely don't want to get stuck in the CC combo from hell. That's what makes Kate Morg so good. See the same thing why you pick Lux with Kate. You just find them, stick a trap under them, they're CC'd for a good 4 seconds, just eating damage from full Caitlyn Qs, plus headshots, plus more pool. It gets a lot of damage really quickly, so you want to stay out of that if you can.
Yeah, and already we're seeing Renji and Dogmar take a little bit of damage, maybe a bit unsolicited. Narawana is getting some of these pot shots off. Meanwhile, Roast the Beef is taking a fair amount for his ADC, but you know, I will take health on the ADC, and being able to take two bot laners members' health down.
Yeah, and we're just kind of seeing why I think you take the Vel'Koz and this kind of thing. You can still get damage back onto Caitlyn. The reason she's such a good lane bully is she outranges all other ADCs auto range until like you get Kog'Maw or Tristana or something later in the game. But Vel'Koz can use his spells to actually keep even with range and prevent Caitlyn from just getting free pot shots. So you can at least like continue to pressure Caitlyn on the wave as she's pressuring you, and try and keep the HP bars even. If you're good at landing skill shots, which so far Renji has been.
Yeah, don't try this at home if you're not practiced on Vel'Koz. But yeah, when you see someone like Renji who has such a mastery of the champion, he is actually going to be hitting these shots consistently. He's not just bleeding mana all over the place. However, he is still eating a lot of mana by shooting these Qs. They're not cheap. I think they're like 80 a pop at level 1. So we are seeing Renji get low on mana, and finally Narawana and Roast the Beef are able to push him in, but it doesn't result in anything permanent, and they are as well getting very low in mana. They're just buying time for Cade here, as Cade comes in, and we might see something from the level 4 Karthus with no CC.
Yeah, can't really do a card this gank. Renji once again showing off on his Vel'Koz. He lands a double Q on both characters. He's been landing it through minion waves. And you're a little bit wrong. Vel'Koz Q is 40 mana, so he can spam that
Four?
basically as much as he wants.
40
Yeah,
mana at
and
rank
oh
1.
my gosh. Yeah,
Well,
40 mana
okay.
rank 1.
My mistake. Last time I played Vel'Koz was Urf, so I wasn't exactly checking mana costs.
That's pretty fair, but just it's been very impressive watching how many like double Qs and through minion Qs he's been landing. And really, again, what Vid said, don't try this at home. You can't always pick a mage into Caitlyn and do well with it because of how different the playstyle can be. But Renji's good enough to make it work. Meanwhile, Lucian's pressuring mid as True Rage shows what happens when you play a mage into an ADC without having that kind of advantage. As Lucian's not a standard ADC, he gets to counter basically everyone in lane.
Yep, that's how Lucian works. But we are going to see True Rage. The reason he took that teleport, he is going to TP back. However, this will buy time since Narawana and Roast the Beef, with all of those beautiful double Qs landed by Renji, them backing off means the 4-man in the bot lane, they will be able to take down this Ocean Drake at 5 minutes and 40 seconds. So very quick and much faster than last game. They do have to get out of here carefully. Annie is 6, and she has flash, but she doesn't have stun.
Oh. Yeah, barely. I think she missed the ult on Lucian as well. He wanted to save flash. I guess he used his E for damage or was just out of mana. I couldn't exactly tell which.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, I
that's nice
think.
for stacking. Yeah, probably both. But they do manage to get the early dragon. That's nice. They do lose Tahm Kench and Lucian Flash, so potential avenue to exploit for Philgang to try and get some early kills on the board.
Yeah, and Vel'Koz or not Vel'Koz, well, essentially, Tahm Kench losing his flash here basically means that Vel'Koz is also losing an effective flash because of the Tahm Kench Devour. So Renji doesn't necessarily have to play super safe right now because he has his own flash, but he can't just rely on Dogmar eating him up and taking him out of any trouble because there's no flash for Dogmar to use. Once they get to well, push this minion wave back out, first of all, they will be at a significantly better state here because they will be able to, be even. But Leroy taking a tower shot, and that trade does not actually go in his favor here.
Yeah, getting a little bit antsy. Sometimes you feel like you can do whatever you want with Lucian because of how much better his trades are. That's going to be a really random ult with a Volibear coming in behind him. It's just going to force the unstoppable force, so Cinnamon gets out. Ult for ult, not really a big deal.
Yeah, they're very similar cooldowns at this level.
Yeah, I think Warnult's a bit longer, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Malphite is 117, Ornn is 127, so there's a 10-second window that Cinnamon Roll can exploit if he really, really wants to.
Well, just saying, if you're Malphite and you're trying to kill Ornn, it might actually take you more than 10 seconds. So don't engage with your ult. Start running him down, then finish him off with your ult.
Yeah, and I'm also curious what the Glacial Shroud is for Cinnamon, just because it might just be for the mana and CDR, which is pretty nice for Malphite to have, because he can be mana hungry if you spam Qs. I don't recommend it in this kind of matchup where because the mana cost huge. That's just first blood for Renji.
That's a man who knows his Vel'Koz. Like, he got Narawana at the very tip of the ultimate. He knew how much damage that would take, and Narawana didn't know that he needed to heal there. So great job by Renji picking up a solo kill first blood here. Yeah,
Dogmar sits around and claps his AD on. I bet he landed a tongue or something somewhere to get the assist. But yeah, I think it's a combination of Renji knows his champion. You don't know what Vel'Koz can truly do as Narawana because you don't usually see a bot lane, and he just flat out dies to it. So that's going to be a couple plates and a really nice early lead for Renji in the bot lane with 20 CS against Kate Moore.
Yeah, that is not something that happens normally. Winning lane with a kill and 20 CS against Kate Morg, plus towers, plus then forcing the Morgana back so that Caitlyn's in the 2v1. while your jungler comes to gank, it looks like
make
he is
that a
going to force the
3v1.
flash.
Yeah, it does get out. There's the engage mid. Lucian actually takes that fairly well, so that's going to be Terra's. And one thing I am a bit curious about is what Annie's going to. It looks like she's going for Ludens, but I've also heard whispers, I guess, of a like Leandri's Rylai's build that kind of came out after they changed some of the burn damage from it. And if I'm not sure if that's still a thing, but if it is still a thing, I think I would have liked it this game against how beefy of a frontline Lamp has. I'm not sure if you've heard any more about it.
No, I mean, we don't really see Annie, and I don't watch LS's stream, so I don't get to hear him preach about it. But I would be interested to see that coming out for her. Obviously, it's not happening with that Lost Chapter being built first, and I think he needs, like, whether that's stronger or not, I think Lost Chapter into, like, a Ludens is better up front here, which he kind of needs to deal with this Lucian. We saw how easily he tanked that ultimate from him because of that Null Magic Mantle now into the Hex Drinker. He's going to be much more aggressive and much more able to just kind of bully and force True Rage's either summoners or just death.
Yeah, it's smart itemization from the Leroy. He's up against full AP topside with Annie, Karthus, Malphite, Hexdrinker alone, as Renji's going to pick up another kill over the wall. And that's some fun interactive gameplay against the Vel'Koz.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that other than I seriously I beg you guys, don't try this at home. I know it looks tempting. I know it looks like you can win lane against a Caitlyn Morgana, but you probably need to put, you know, tens of hours of practice into this champion before you can start doing that.
Yeah, I can say from experience that Renji puts a ton of time on Vel'Koz, and he is very, very good at it. And you can see the results if you do that. That you haven't quite seen what happens when it doesn't work, but this is what happens when you give a one-trick, or not a one-trick, but when you give it someone a champ they know really, really well, they can really start to pop up with it. And they're going to have to do something from Phil to get some of this pressure, because this might just be first tower plus blades. And Vel'Koz that strong against their kind of team comp is going to, with a Tom Kench in his back pocket, is going to be super hard to deal with.
Yeah, this is just some classic individual diff. I mean, we saw last game everything was pretty much even back and forth until that first team fight, and then the individual differences started coming out. This one, straight up, this is bot lane, and this is the Lucian, like the Lucian power pick here, and even Suki in the top lane. He's 15 CS ahead, and like he is still Ornn, so yeah, he's 15 CS ahead. But like, each lane is winning. The only one who isn't is Hastega, because he's actually been helping his lanes gank, and Cade has just been farming.
Yeah, and like with the Malphite pick, it's an Urn pick, and it looks like he's going for Iceborne. I don't like Iceborne first, as it doesn't give you any health. Sure, you get a bit of armor from it and the AoE slow, but you're really squishy against 2-0, 100 CS, full plate first turret Vel'Koz. You are going to absolutely melt as Malphite unless you one-shot him in the initial combo, and with the Tom Kench, you can't do that. So it's gonna be rough for him trying to take any sort of thing, as this is gonna be rough for anyone trying to walk into Renji, and that's just over the wall. And okay, he decided to let her live this time, and now it's the Leroy who's in trouble. Nice binding from the Morgana. He's gonna flash out with the heal. Hex Drinker popping off. Tom Kench ults in, and no one dies in the end. But yeah. I still think that Lamp will be happy with it.
Yeah, Lamp is fairly happy with not dying here, because I mean, they just do better. Leroy burning all of his cooldowns and everything, of course, is unfortunate, and okay, can Senamain burn down Renji before Leroy gets here? The answer is no.
Yeah, no. Does manage to flash away, so he's gonna temporarily get out. Here comes the calling, a bit misangled from Leroy. Dashes forward, there's the double tap auto. Senamain roll goes down, and he tried to get something onto Renji, just didn't quite have enough damage, even though he came close, and that's now gonna be top tower, along with the kill, going over to Lamp.
Yeah, Lamp will be taking this one. They have built themselves a 4k gold lead here at 14 minutes. And now Suki is trying to 1v2. Roast the Beef will have to use the ultimate as disengage, as the Call of the Forge God was also popped. But just in general, Lamppost, they are pushing their advantages. Renji is strong. He got that extra assist on Senna roll. They put themselves at an advantage where the Leroy picked up that last kill. Both supports see each other and just say, let's not mention it. And it just does not look like Philgang really had a... They had a game plan coming in, but they didn't like have an execution. They knew what they were picking, they just didn't know how that was going to translate into an advantage at all.
Yeah, I mean, you have Karthus, who wants to be farming, you have losing solo lanes. Bot lane might have had a chance to come out ahead, except for how well Renji can pilot the cause and just outplayed them pretty much. And I just want to give a ton of props to how good Lamp's setup is. Pretty much they've had 3 towers now. Every single one, you've had multiple members come by and hover. Like you see Hastega just dancing there, and that's been what he's doing. He just comes down, forces them off, they take the tower for free. Now Suji's chasing down on Courage, just laying the slow, and they're cutting him off from the other side. Flash from Hastega, he's gonna jump forward and not quite get in range in time, but they are gonna finish off Annie. Renji from over the wall with the Death Laser, gonna finish him off. Courage kind of quiet as the Craft Assault comes down for just a little bit of, just so he can say that he used it. And Annie will get chased down eventually, but they are going to manage to get on top of Renji. Dogmar doesn't have the Feast of Families that is a shutdown from Malphite, now trying to chase down Dogmar. And Lamp might have overextended a little bit. Orange is going to come in. He does have the Call of the Forge God back off. There's a stop on Dogmar by time. He flashes away. Flash Forge just barely comes. Look, here comes the ace in the hole that it's going to be able to finish him up as the fight goes on the other side. Dash from Warren right into the binding. Now Narawana's actually going to be able to get a trap down, get some damage. Net backs away. Cinnamon Rail collapse with the auto with the Sheen. And that was, I believe, 3 kills for Philgang. And that might get them somewhat back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're still at a fair disadvantage, but that was a really good series of pickups for them. Unfortunately, they got 2 on Senna roll, which, including that shutdown on Renji, which really isn't the best, especially considering what he's building right now. The strong point on the side of Lamppost is not anyone that does AD damage, and I don't think Senna roll is really considering that in his build path. He's got Ninja Tabi, which is only useful against the Lucian, and not even that much, because Lucian is a caster ADC, and Leroy moving in on True Rage, and True Rage doesn't have the ultimate.
True Rage? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I guess True Rage was looking elsewhere on the map, because he just lets Leroy auto him for a little bit. He's going to get chased down for another kill, tries to use the Tibbers, and it's chasing him down, but Hex Drinker's pretty good item against Annie, and Leroy's going to be fine.
Yeah, so Leroy finds himself a solo kill, puts True Rage to 0 and 3, and I think you have to be right. He should have been able to see Leroy taking the Krugs there, but if he was window shopping or watching his team, So we are looking at Lamppost continuing to build their lead, 4,500 gold. They've got the Cloud Drake, 3rd Drake on the map. They are going to take that down, and with Cade still in the backside, he's not going to be able to walk in. So this is another easy Drake here for Lamppost, and it looks like they're starting to wrap this game up in a nice little bow. I mean, they've got Renji still comfortably ahead, Leroy building his advantages on the other side of the map, and he's actually he's split pushing on the top side, despite not having teleport, because he knows that they're either going to need to send multiple to him, or if they don't and Annie TP's in, he can either chunk her out hard enough or outright kill her and make that 4v5 disadvantage basically negligible.
Yeah, and it's just item difference between the 2 mid laners is actually massive. You have Annie on Seekers, Lost Chapter, and Boots, basically just components. Like, there's a full item lead for the Lucian, and he's only going to get stronger from here. And if Annie can't one-shot you, she can't really fight you as much if you're up against the AD carry with that kind of sustained damage, so...
I'm sorry, 2004 Lexus GX470 is in the chat right now. The starting mid laner for Philgang, just saying, hey, am I late?
A little bit late, as this is going to be an all-in from Leroy. Culling's going to go down, flash forward to make sure he gets on a true edge. Now Cade is in a bunch of trouble. Leroy dashes around, crits him down, and you might be a little bit too late, Lexus, because I don't know if Philgang are going to be able to go to a game 3.
Well, it's fine because he's just such a team player that he's matching his team. He's late to the game, and they are the late Phil gang because it seems like their playoff races are finally getting put 6 feet under. They just got 2v. I mean, their mid jungle just got 2v1'd by Lucian, and he is now 4-0. He didn't go back after that because he doesn't really need to, and it just looks like Lamppost have they're on the let's dance on their grave kind of part of this. No one can really step up to them. They just haven't forced this fight with Ornn yet.
Yeah, just Lamp have all the advantages. They have a stronger mid laner who can 2v1. Their tank's a lot better. Vel'Koz is a lot stronger. Only possible point is Cade, who's stronger than the Volibear. But 1 player against 4, and it's not like Volibear minds being that far behind in gold. So at this point, it's Lamp's deciding how they're going to win it, and Phil is kind of hoping that they'll throw.
And you know, it's very possible. Lamppost could very potentially just say, you know what, let's throw it and give Lexus. Oh, beautiful flash by Renji.
Yeah, well, he goes in, really nice flash by Renji. Easy able to turn off. There goes the tower. Histega says you are lights out from it, as that's going to be more poke on Cade. One more proc could probably kill him from the Q. Here comes the call of the Forge God. That's right in the backline, and Leroy comes around from the back, gets all the kills. That's going to be a double. 4 kills, only the Annie's left alive, and she is 0-4. She isn't going to be able to cleaning anyone up, and Lamp gets a huge advantage and at least 1, possibly 2 inhibs.
Into the waiting arms of Lucian. It looks like Lamppost is looking to close this one out, and unfortunately for
oh my gosh.
That's okay.
All right, Leroy.
Yeah, we're just gonna
Feeling himself a little bit, gets a bit over antsy. That is really nice for the Annie to be able to get at least a bit of gold, and she's gonna recall right in Ornn's face. That's very much a don't blink situation. But that is a good shutdown. Not sure it'll matter, but Annie might be able to start approaching one-shot territory. You saw it there, like even with the Hex Drinker under tower, managed to get him down low enough. So a couple more throws like that might give them motor shot, but it's still gonna be quite the uphill battle for Philgang.
So currently chat is discussing playoff implications, given that it seems that Lamp is starting to close out this game. Yes, with the final matches of the season coming up, Lamppost is locked for playoffs if they win this, because they have the head-to-head over Quarantine Recovery Group, and now if they have the head-to-head over Philgang, the worst that they could finish will be 4-3 alongside Philgang and who they have the head-to-head over, and then Quarantine Recovery Group could potentially end 5-2. If Philgang wins against Return of the Middle Sticks, Quarantine Recovery Group needs to lose to Glacial Rising Eagles. As X-Craze so delicately put it, Return of the Middle Sticks losing to Philgang is more likely than anyone losing to Glacial Rising Eagles. But we do see Philgang showing signs of life. They're sacking basically their entire topside and leaving their ADC there, giving up Soul and going for Baron.
Yeah, this is actually a really, really nice buff from Philgang. You know that Lamp is going to want to try and go for Soul, that it's what everyone would do, and they know they can't fight it with how far behind they are, so they just say screw it and just run over and take the Baron. Really, really nice, and a bit of sleeping on the wheel from Lamp.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud Soul is okay on some of their members. I mean, it's pretty good on Leroy. Getting more Death Lasers is good for Renji, but overall, it's not that great of a soul for Lamppost. It's much better to have the Baron and stall this game out and try and give more time for this Caitlyn, for this Karthus to get online. So that was probably the best play that Philgang has made this entire series, and it might not matter though.
Yeah, here comes the Oranhorn, and the calling from over the wall, and they just murder Cage. He's going to be able to contribute from beyond. That here comes the Death Laser from the sky. Sega gets low, does manage to get him off with one more Skittle. Now under tower, they're still diving. Renji's going to run right into the other tower, and he tries to go forward. There's the ace in the hole. He's going to actually go down. Now they're in between. Suki's trying to run down on Morgana. Flashes forward, does get him with the auto and the grasp. Power shot follows. Kate's going to net forward, try and get the Q down, but he's pretty fast with the Cloud Soul running right into Dogmar. They do have Stormrazor that'll be able to chase him. Armor auto. Dogmar's going to ult a couple of feet, and interesting, but Suki's still running. Cloud Soul will manage to get him out. But that's another successful defense from Philgang, and Lamp are starting to throw some gold back their way.
Yeah, I mean, that was the second team fight in a row now that Philgang have been able to find themselves. They've got that Baron buff as well, so they've successfully stalled this game for at least another minute or so. It's really good to see them fighting back, showing signs of life, trying to force this game 3. It is, of course, still an uphill battle. Orin has... I don't know what it is, like 9:30 every night. My headset keeps cutting out. Just constantly.
Okay. I was thinking it was my internet.
What I was in the middle of saying was it is still an uphill battle. Since Ornn has those ornaments, he's still fighting. You know, he's getting extra gold in. He's almost to level 14, which means he will be able to turn that, possibly make a Luden's Pulse. Oh, True Rage. He's...
Oh.
No, he's actually gonna live.
Ultimate. Yeah, baits out a few ultimates actually. Gets the laser, gets the culling, manages to survive if very low. So that's a nice pickup. I do want to criticize a bit the itemization from Philgang. I don't like the Stormrazor first on Caitlyn when you need the Infinity Edge to be able to chunk through like the Volibear and the Ornn, as picks don't matter as much with the slows. That's going to be an engage from Zena main, as he's going to go on to the where he doesn't quite manage to get him. There's flash forward from True Rage, doesn't get anyone either. There's the knockup. He's going to be knocked down by Suki VG. Now they're trying to dive under the tower, hanging from Hastega. Caedrel's going to flash away, trying to stay alive, and it is just going to be a 1 for none, but all the pressure is for Lamp side, and they're going to be looking to break mid and hit.
Yeah, this could very well be it. With True Rage down, now it being a 4v5, and Leroy still has his ultimate. Renji as well has got the Death Laser. This is pretty much the last stand for Philgang. Oh, this is like the third last stand in a row for Philgang. They've got to find something here, but they've already lost their jungler.
Yeah, K's gonna get picked off by it. Spits Renji out a bit too early. Meanwhile, flash forward from Sega. That's actually gonna be right into a binding snare, but Renji just shuts down Narawana with the Q. He's gonna pick him up. Leroy dashes in to finish off Roast the Beat. Morgana's gonna go down, and now that's 5 up from Lamp. They have the HP, they have the members, they have the game, as True Rage is the one and only survivor. And they're gonna be pushing in with the minion wave. Not a lot you can do to stop them. And I think this is gonna be Lamp with a very clean 2 overfill and guaranteeing their spot to playoffs.
Yeah, they have guaranteed that they will at least be 4th seed here. Lamppost has locked a playoff spot here. They are the 3rd team to do so in Platinum. And they are just going to be celebrating here and thanking Philgang for a good season. Of course, Philgang still has next week to go through, but here we have it. Lamp is number 3 of our Platinum playoff teams.
Yep, just well done from Lamp. They pretty much had it under control in both games. They had the better laners, they had the better team movements, they just had the better team, and they proved it with the 2-0 over Philgang and secure their playoff spot. And I'm not sure who they have left to play and then who they'll likely be facing for playoffs, but this is a very good start for them to try and make the run for champion.
Yeah, so Lamppost looking really good here, and I believe we were going to pull in the 8th ranked support from Platinum Capped. Let me see if I can bring Dogmar in here for a quick interview after this game. I have to add him to my friends list because apparently we're not friends. I'm also not friends with you, apparently.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's a little bit awkward.
I've always considered you a friend.
Aww. Stop
don't need a
it,
Discord
you.
signal to. We don't need Discord to tell us if we're friends or not. We can be it without their permission.
Oh, but I do actually need. Wait. It says we are friends. So why does it say Dogmar? No. All right. Well, we're having some technical difficulties. Please let me add friends. There we go. Let's see if we can bring Dogmar in here. And Dogmar, how you doing, man?
Here?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah, so congratulations on the win. Congratulations on locking playoffs. How do y'all feel?
We just feel, pretty grateful. It's kind of unfortunate that Alexis wasn't able to play tonight. We're looking to get every team at their best, but he wasn't there today. But it's definitely a great win. Good to be in the playoffs. Good to not have to worry anymore. And we get 2 bye weeks because we play DAG next week. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's 2 weeks of good prep. You can look at your potential quarterfinals matchups. Return to the Middle Sticks and Sensei Squad. Is it Sensei Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your so the draft for Game 2 was interesting. You picked up the Vel'Koz first, and then the Lucian. Walk us through that. Was that always going to be Renji's Vel'Koz, and then the Lucian mid?
For the most part. The only way it would have switched up is having Leroy take the Lucian bot lane, and Reggie taking the Vel'Koz mid, but for the most part we were planning on taking the Vel'Koz bot.
Yeah, good.
Something we've been planning on for a while.
It's nice whipping out your secret strats before whipping out your secret strats and making everyone prep for you a little bit more.
I don't know how secret they were. I mean, they saw it in the in-house. It was kind of dirty.
Oh, well. Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot you guys played the in-houses.
And I'm pretty sure that anyone who's been in GRLCS for at least the past couple of years knows that Renji's going to be picking in Vel'Koz when he has the chance.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, if you've got your 2 bye weeks, obviously it's a generally accepted practice that you don't want to be playing against the people that you'll be playing against in playoffs. So with it being, or with Platinum being kind of a top heavy, like the top 5 teams basically were all good contenders, will you be scrimming against Philgang, or will you be turning your sights to possibly Diamond Capped for scrim partners? That may be a little too much.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say too much. I mean, I definitely think we can take on some of the lower diamond teams. I'm not so sure about the top boys, but Leroy's been really good about getting us scrims in between GRLCS teams and then other orgs across the country. A couple of the academy teams, stuff like that.
Wow, very cool. So we won't be scrimming middle sticks because they're a bit too easy. Thank you, Histega. That's just free scrims.
Yeah,
there.
we might actually go against Rodham Gold. They're the reason we lost to Rodham earlier this year.
Oh wow!
Earlier this month. Yeah, Wing Nation. Shout out Wing Nation. Played a really good Caitlyn.
Yeah, so I believe he is in the chat right now, so he should hear you. But one last question before we let you go and celebrate your win. What do you have anything to say? Because this is your chance to be on the GRLCS stream and just shout out anyone you want, or just talk some shit if you want.
I mean, everyone has a pretty good night every once in a while, but I really want to be on Leroy about tonight. Great job. Just kept it on our throats the whole game.
All right, well, thank you, Dogmar. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on playoffs, and thank you for the interview. But for us, that will be it tonight. We are done for the evening. On Saturday, we're going to bring you the other 2 games from Platinum, and then, of course, the rest of the week will progress on our normal schedule. So from everyone here at Get Wrecked, and, of course, General Vici, the man, the myth, the legend, thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you on Saturday. Have a great night.
Bye.